This is Mr. J, and I'm going to be showing you how to go through these levels in Unit 2, Lesson 2, Intro to HTML. This lesson is more of just getting used to the web lab. You can see over here, welcome to web lab, and there's 3 parts. You have your files, which are the files that you upload, and then you have your workspace, which is where you write your code, and then you have your preview, where you see what the actual web page will look like. And so I'm going to kind of take you through and show you how to do it. So the platform you're in is called Web Lab. There are 3 main parts. I kind of already went over this, so here's what you're going to do. Try typing something in the workspace. So the workspace would be this area here, right? So you have line, the little 1 there is line 1. So I'm going to say, this is kind of what most code does, right? Hello world. And then I'm going to click refresh and save and see what happens. Okay, so it shows up hello world. Cool. Okay, so anything I type in here is going to show up in the preview. You do have other parts here where you can add HTML, add CSS, add image, version history. We'll get into all those parts later. And then we have our inspector, which will inspect the code and see if there's any bugs. Refresh and save runs the code and gives you your preview over here. And that's all we had to do, is just type anything you want. And so I typed it, it showed up in the preview space, and I'm going to click finish. I'm going to let you watch this video on your own, so I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And we will do this next part. So we're going to explore the HTML. So this is a web page written in HTML, and you're going to learn how it works. Okay, first we're going to use the inspector tool. So if I click on this little arrow over here, it shows me the answer to this question. And so the inspector tool is a great way to learn more about unfamiliar code in Web Lab. To turn on the inspector tool, click inspector off, and then it will turn it on. You will know that the inspector tool is on because the button will turn white and say inspector on. Once you turn on the inspector tool, you can hover over anything in the preview area, and Web Lab will highlight the code that is making that part of the page appear. So what that looks like is this. I'm going to click on inspector. It's going to turn it on. And then whenever I hover over this, you can see the blue box appear. And then over in the code here, you can see it get highlighted. So this H2, H stands for heading. This is a web page, H2. And so you can see this is a web page. So this code here on line 8 is making this part of the page appear. And so if I'm looking at the title, then I can see that that is heading 1, line 7, welcome to Web Lab, and it shows up there. Okay, so you can kind of use the inspector to search through your web page and see exactly what code is creating it. Okay, so click how to use inspector tool. We already did that. Click on the inspector tool and follow the instructions in the web page to explore the web page and discuss with partner how it is working. If you want, you can go ahead and discuss with a partner just to get an idea of how it's working. And then we're going to click finish. And again, it looks like we have another video, so I'll let you watch that on your own. And you can answer the question in the Pear Deck for this. I'll move on to the next level. So we should be on level 5 now. Okay, and so this little chain link means that whatever you write in this level is going to be carried over to the next level and the next level. And so whatever you write here, the code you write will appear in the next level when you click on it. So we're going to learn some tags. Okay, so we're going to add text to the body. When you start any web lab project, it will automatically add the document type, which would be HTML, and then it's going to add a heading and a body. And these tags is where you're going to put your content for your projects. And you'll need to do it between the body tags because it should be part of the body of your web page. So do this. And we're just going to follow these bullets. Write 3 separate sentences about any topic you like inside of the body tags of your web page. So here are the body tags, right? So we're going to put our sentences in between here. Okay, so you can write any 3 sentences you want. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and I can click this off. So I didn't show that. When you do it, you're going to go ahead and click next to the body on the right, and then you're going to hit the return or enter key to take you down, and it automatically indents, and that way you don't have to worry about not indenting properly. Okay, and so I'm going to write 3 sentences. Let's see. Computers use input to take in information, period. And then computers store and process the input. Then computers give an output. You can put whatever you want. You don't have to copy me, but there's my three sentences. Okay, so there it is. Now notice it all shows up on one long line. Okay, I believe in the next level we're going to put tags on it so that it separates it out. Let me just double check here. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. You have these 3 dots here, so you can move this up and down to get more space or less space. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Okay, and so we're going to learn the paragraph tags. So if I click on these little arrows here, what is a paragraph element? Paragraphs are marked by openings, P, and closing, P. You notice the difference. The closing P has a slash first, and these are tags. Paragraphs in HTML can be any length of text from one word to a bunch of sentences. Paragraphs group together sets of sentences and put some space between that group of text and the next group of text. And then how do I make multiple paragraphs? Here's an example of several paragraph tags in a row. This code would be placed inside of the body of your web page. So you have your P tag, your opening P tag. This is a paragraph. It has 2 sentences. And then your closing P tag. And then you would open a P tag, and this is another paragraph with the closing P tag. Okay, so we're going to do that with the 3 sentences we just wrote. Okay, because in our code it looks like they would appear on separate lines, but we noticed that when we refreshed and saved them, they all 3 ended up being on one line. So I want those separate. So what I'm going to do is add these P tags to each part here. So we're going to use the less than symbol a P, a greater than symbol. And then we're not going to worry about any spaces. And then right on the end of our paragraph, we're going to put less than slash P greater than. And this all together is a P tag. Okay? And then notice as soon as I wrote that, it put that one line on its own line. And so I'm going to go ahead and now that I've written it, I don't have to keep typing it. I can just copy and paste. And then I can copy this end tag and paste it right here. And as soon as I do that, I get 3 separate paragraphs. They're just individual sentences for paragraphs. Okay, and then go ahead and make sure that you and your neighbor have the same, your P tags are correctly done and you have 3 separate lines of text. Okay, and then the next one, if you do this correctly, this is what I'll be looking at to see if you know what you're doing with the P tag. Okay, and make sure that your code is in between the body tags, line 5 and line 11 in this case. You might have a different line depending on how long your sentences are. Okay, so I'm going to click finish, and then we'll take us to our last level, level 7, which is the challenge level. Okay, so our problem is we've got this simple web page that has some issues which are preventing the content from being displayed correctly. Identify and fix the issues. This practice is also called debugging your code. So when your code isn't running how you want it, there's something wrong with it, so you have to find the bug or the problem and then fix it. So we're going to fix this broken code so that the web page displays correctly. Compare the problems you fixed with your neighbor. Okay, so what I want is it's not as easily identifiable. So if you're reading the code, it says this sentence should be on its own, so should this one. What's wrong with this sentence? Okay, so we want to make all of these sentences be on their own. All right, but before we do that, I want to just check this out. Make sure that you are checking these little arrows here because they give you hints and clues. And as we go further along, it's going to be very helpful to use this. Again, this is just the paragraph element, the paragraph tag, the P tag, okay, the open tag and the close tag. And then why HTML works even though it seems to be broken. HTML is read by your web browser to generate web pages. Since people often make little mistakes when writing their web pages, browsers are programmed to make the best guess of what you intended to do. Sometimes different browsers are even programmed to make different guesses. The only way to ensure your code looks like you intend is to make sure you're always using tags correctly. So you may have mistakes in your code, but you may not realize it because the browser is making an educated guess and oftentimes will display it correctly, even though you have a small mistake in your code. And then why does the code sometimes turn pink? WebLab is programmed to automatically detect some mistakes in HTML. When it notices a mistake, it turns the code pink. The mistake might be in pink or might be somewhere before the pink code. You'll need to carefully debug to find your mistake. So I'm going to show you what it means by the pink. So if I'm over here and let's say I get rid of part of the P tag, notice that it changed the color of my sentence. And now my P tag is showing up pink here, and then this one's blue. And so we can see that and then I get the pink box. So that's showing that I have a bug. So I would have to fix that bug, and then everything should disappear. Remember, you can always turn inspector on and you can see what code is showing up where. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to do what we did in level 6. This sentence should be on its own. So if it should be on its own, I'm going to put a period just to have a correct punctuation. I'm going to put my less than / p greater than. Okay. And then I'm going to refresh and save. That got them all on the right line, but I have I can see I have a bug because I have the pink. So what I'm missing is my opening p tag. So I just put my less than p greater than, and I refresh and save. And it looks like everything should be good. I'm not sure why this is showing up here. I don't think it's a mistake at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep it. Yeah, everything's fine. And then I just refresh and save, and everything looks good. I've got all my sentences are on separate lines. This sentence should be on its own. So should this one. What's wrong with this sentence? Okay, and so I'm finished. My code looks good. It's all lined up. I have a p tag. Oh, I see. Here we go. I did find the bug. Okay, so this last one. See, this is an example of, line 8 is an example of, it's the wrong code, but it's still showing up fine. But that's why we're getting the pink down here at 10. Oftentimes you'll get the bug will be in a line here, but the mistake is actually above it. So our mistake is we have the slash in the wrong place. So we get rid of it there, and then we add the slash to the end tag, the closing tag. And now, when I refresh and save, there is no pink, so I know my code is clean, and then I see that the sentences are all on 3 separate lines. So I'm good, I'm done. As long as yours looks like mine, then you're good to go. All right, and that's how you do the beginnings of HTML.